In recent weeks, it has been observed that the Russians have once again started using large armored convoys to attack Ukrainian territories. Donetsk region is currently suffering the most from Russian attacks. Here is a Russian assault that took place on March 19th near Velyka Novosilka. The Russians attempted to break through the Ukrainian defense using turtle tanks. Under the cover of electronic warfare systems, they advanced head-on but were counterattacked by Ukrainian kamikaze drones. The armored column was led by tanks, followed by armored personnel carriers with assault groups. Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots began precisely striking Russian targets. This Russian turtle tank was protected by an additional metal frame and electronic warfare systems, with a Russian flag visible on the turret barrel. However, none of this saved it from total destruction. After that, Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots began pursuing the remaining part of the armored column, which had already passed through the settlement and was continuing its assault on Ukrainian positions. This Russian tank was well protected. It ran over an anti-tank mine and was then hit by a kamikaze drone, but it remained undamaged. Therefore, the drone pilots continued their attack. Overall, the Russian tank ran over 3 mines, lost control, and came to a stop. Then, a kamikaze drone pilot delivered the decisive strike. It is clearly visible that the tank was also protected by an additional mesh and electronic warfare systems, but it was still destroyed. And yet another Russian tank, the last one remaining from this column. The Russian armored column was destroyed, and the surviving armored personnel carriers decided to retreat. This is another Russian armored assault that took place in the Donetsk region near the settlement of Vosvanka. Ukrainian forces confidently began attacking the enemy armored vehicles. The Russians attacked from 2 flanks simultaneously. To block the road for other vehicles, the pilots first began targeting a tank crew that was moving between tree lines. Another group of drone pilots began attacking armored personnel carriers with infantry that were advancing from the other flank. The damaged and destroyed Russian armored vehicles began to burn with black smoke, while the surviving Russian infantrymen started hiding in the forested area. Such losses did not stop the Russian assault troops, and the attack continued. Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots worked professionally. All Russian armored vehicles that enter Ukrainian territory must be destroyed and burned like tin cans. This Russian armored personnel carrier tried to escape the battlefield, but was intercepted and destroyed. Here, Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots in the Kursk region, near the village of Plekhovo, close to the Ukrainian border, are searching for a Russian armored personnel carrier. The aftermath of previous battles is clearly visible. A large number of destroyed vehicles have turned into scrap metal. The reconnaissance drone spots the movement of an enemy armored personnel carrier. Immediately, a kamikaze drone is launched to target it. The armored personnel carrier tries to escape, but the drone confidently pursues it. The pilot selects the best angle for the strike and delivers irreparable damage. The armored personnel carrier loses control. Frightened crew members quickly try to abandon the vehicle and flee. The armored personnel carrier begins to catch fire, and soon it is engulfed in massive flames. And here, Ukrainian drone operators are repelling another Russian attack on the Zaparizia region. A drone pilot is heading toward a Russian airborne fighting vehicle that has been blown up by a mine. The drone operator strikes and the airborne combat vehicle explodes. After a while, it catches fire and burns down. After that, drone pilots continue hunting for Russian armored vehicles. While surveying the area, the Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilot spots an abandoned quad bike and strikes it. Another drone pilot, surveying the countryside occupied by the Russians, spots Russian vehicle next to a house and also strikes it. This is Chasiv Yar, Donetsk region. Ukrainian drone forces have launched a nighttime safari on Russian soldiers. The drones they operate are called Rusaris, derived from Russo, Russian, and Riz, from the Slavic word meaning to cut. These drones are equipped with night vision cameras, making it extremely difficult for Russians to hide from them. Here is a rather unusual situation involving a Russian soldier. While trying to escape from a drone on a motorcycle, he fell and froze in this position. As the drone hovered nearby, he didn't even attempt to move, just remained motionless, waiting. This is Belgorod region, Russia. Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots detected Russian self-propelled artillery units that were shelling Ukrainian positions. The drone pilots immediately launched devastating strikes and destroyed the Russian equipment. Another rather unusual situation. Two Russian soldiers were transporting their wounded comrade on a cart, head down. It's unclear why exactly in this position. Perhaps the injured man had leg problems. Upon hearing the sound of a drone, the soldiers abandoned their wounded comrade and ran for cover. After a while, they returned, picked up the cart, and continued moving. However, upon hearing the drone again, they once more abandoned their comrade and fled for good. Here, the pilots of Magyar's birds launched a safari on Russian soldiers hiding in dugouts. A drone pilot flew right up to the entrance of a dugout and landed. Hearing the drone's sound fade, a Russian soldier decided to step outside and assess the situation. But at that moment, the explosion was already unavoidable. Another Russian soldier hiding in a construction container was found by Ukrainian pilots. This Russian soldier tried to deceive the drone pilot and hide behind the trees. However, the attempt was unsuccessful. The drone pilots also destroyed several Russian tanks. Magyar's birds are operating in Donetsk region, relentlessly eliminating the enemy and not allowing them to enter Ukrainian territory. Most drones are converted to fiber optics, as these drones are more practical and better protected from electronic warfare systems. That's all for today. Subscribe to the channel to not miss new videos. This material was prepared by Hustler. See you later.